Although it's for the wrong reasons, Pablo Escobar is arguably one of the most successful people in the world. Through a clever understanding of the system and many connections, Escobar operated a business model way ahead of its time. Even with the help of the United States, the Colombian government often went on many wild goose chases just to stop him. In his time, his influence and power almost rivaled that of a country's president. Get to know more about the man whose story is behind the Netflix series Narcos, because today we're going to look at the 10 things Netflix is hiding about Pablo Escobar. Number 10. Half-truths of his death. It has never been recorded who made the final gunshot to Pablo Escobar's ear. Moreover, Pablo's relatives even assume that he committed suicide, since Escobar always said he would shoot himself through the ear if he had no chance to escape. Although, sources claimed that Pablo was killed on a rooftop during a shootout as he was trying to flee from the police on December 2, 1993. His son, Sebastian Marroquin, has said he is absolutely certain the infamous drug kingpin took his own life to save his family from being taken hostage. Definitely one of the more mysterious Pablo Escobar facts we may never know the answer to. Number 9. Forbes once declared him the world's richest man. During Pablo Escobar's era, his net worth was around $30 billion, or equivalent to nearly $60 billion in today's money. Named the King of Cocaine, he became the wealthiest criminal in the world. To understand how powerful he was, one should know that in the 1980s and early 90s, his drug cartel monopolized the cocaine trade in the USA. His cartel was responsible for 80% of the cocaine market worldwide. Unfortunately, there's no clear information on exactly how much money he had. Still, according to Business Insider, Escobar's wealth is estimated to be higher than $30 billion. He was so rich that Forbes included him on the list of 10 wealthiest people in the world. Number 8. Pablo earned $420 million a week. The Medellin cartel dominated the cocaine industry during its peak. At this point, Pablo Escobar earned approximately $420 million a week. This made him one of the richest and most powerful people across the globe. This could also be the reason why he had enough money to burn to stay warm and enough for rats to eat. We shouldn't forget his numerous luxury assets. If you ever had doubts about Escobar's wealth, this fact right here will clear those doubts immediately. It is said that the cartel smuggled over 15 tons each day. Cocaine surpassed coffee, which was deemed to be the #1 export in Colombia. Number 7. La Catedral, the defense move. La Catedral, or Escobar's self-built prison, has an overlooking view of the city of Medellin and is built to specifications ordered by Pablo. He might have surrendered himself, but this self-built prison was like a vacation getaway. It was pretty much a mansion with complete entertainment facilities, a football pitch, bar, jacuzzi, and giant dollhouse reportedly filled with prostitutes. Going inside La Catedral was also a defensive move. Pablo Escobar had a chance to choose who would go with him inside La Catedral. Pablo brought some of his most loyal guards and continued his illegal businesses inside the self-built prison through his outside connections. Above all, many assumed that Pablo staged his imprisonment as a hedge against his other cartel enemies, protecting him from assassination attempts. Isn't that one clever move even for Pablo? Number 6. His death after his 44th birthday. Coincidence or what? Pablo Escobar died on December 2, 1993. Just a day after his 44th birthday. Now, I know it isn't strange for someone to die a day after their birthday, because we've even heard of people dying on their birthdays or a day before. But in Escobar's case, this might not be a coincidence. Roughly a year and a half after his escape from La Catedral, he spent the rest of his life running from authorities. On December 2, 1993, he sustained a fatal gunshot through the ear, leg, and torso from the Colombian National Police. With his family insinuating that he might have committed suicide, it looks like the drug lord made sure he stayed alive for at least one more birthday celebration. This has brewed up doubts about his death and claims of him being killed by the police. Number 5. Burnt bucks to stay warm. Escobar reportedly burned around $2 million to keep his family warm on cold nights during their run in the early 90s. As they moved from place to place, Pablo would sometimes blindfold his family every 2 days because he didn't want them to know where they were. Despite Escobar's efforts, he wasn't able to spend all the money he made nor hand it over to his family. Instead, Escobar's riches remained hidden in fields and warehouses. According to his brother, around $2.1 billion of his stash decays yearly. To this day, people still try to locate these riches with little to no avail. Number 4. He tried to pay off Colombia's debt. Escobar had an extravagant lifestyle, including luxurious homes and private planes. According to some reports, he tried to pay off Colombia's debt worth $10 billion in exchange for freeing him from any extradition arrangement. Or maybe it was another attempt to put him in a better position to achieve his political dreams. He did try to run for Congress. In the 1980s, the people of Moravia felt neglected by the Colombian government. Meanwhile, Pablo Escobar joined the picture and ordered 1,000 new houses, a soccer field, and a sanitation system. According to reports, he found a common ground with the poor people and planned to take the opportunity to win their votes in his run for Congress. Number 3. The bombing of Avianca Flight 203. According to investigations, plastic explosives were used to detonate Avianca Flight 203. Pablo Escobar ordered the bombing, believing that the flight held the presidential candidate Cesar Gaviria Trujillo as one of its passengers. On the other hand, it was assumed that some of his drug trade rivals were on the flight. No matter what his reason was, the explosion still had over 100 fatalities, leaving no survivors. One account states that 2 unidentified men dressed in suits who worked for Escobar carried the bomb on board. The men sat in seats 18A and 18K, located above the main fuel tank. At the last moment, one of the men left the aircraft, while his partner stayed on board and was killed in the bombing. Number 2. What happened to Hacienda Nápoles? Hacienda Nápoles became a family theme park after the death of Pablo Escobar. In 1993, the Colombian government demolished the buildings and structures of Hacienda Nápoles. After 2 decades, a private company rented the place and transformed it into a huge amusement park. Among his many properties, Escobar owned an hacienda in Puerto Triunfo, Antioquia, and Colombia. Known as Hacienda Nápoles, Escobar had a private zoo which included wild animals such as elephants, hippos, and giraffes. To this day, hippos still roam the land. Number 1. From rags to riches. Pablo Escobar's parents worked as a farmer and a schoolteacher. He was the 3rd child out of 7 children and was born in an era where poverty was the order of the day in Colombia. According to reports, he started with petty crimes such as selling fake diplomas when he was a teenager. Then he added the falsification of report cards. Soon, he started selling smuggled stereo equipment and stolen tombstones. Pablo Escobar had an enormous fleet of airplanes, helicopters, yachts, and also had numerous houses across the country. When Pablo Escobar began building houses in poor communities, he started to have a Robin Hood image. When Pablo Escobar died, more than 25,000 people attended his funeral, with some even considering him as a saint and praying to him for blessings. One of the essential Pablo Escobar facts to know why some people liked him despite his crimes. Interestingly, he had a rare photo with his family standing in front of the White House in 1981 as a civilian. Furthermore, about that same year, Escobar and his family also went to Disneyland via a first-class trip. That wraps up this list of 10 things Netflix is hiding about Pablo Escobar. Leave your thoughts on this video in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.